Russ Gaspard here for Java 1, and here's my week 3 project. I titled the project Iconic Musicians, and it's a little bit of a play on words because for each of the iconic musicians I've got a little icon that I built, and it does work as requested in both portrait mode and landscape mode. So I can switch on my emulator. Here's my list view, and I can select each of the names in the list, and it'll show me the name, the little icon that goes with them, and the dates when they lived. So Jaco Pastorius, the bass player. There's Miles Davis, the trumpet player. And notice when I go back to portrait view with my spinner, it does track which selection I was on. So if I'm going to go to Hendrix here, the guitar player, then when I spin it around, I'm still on Hendrix. So it worked out pretty good. If we want to take a look at my code, I think it's structured efficiently and with proper methods and constructs. So I just set up some member variables. I had to use two lists, array lists, one that's a string, contains strings, and the other that contains my custom objects. And the string array list I used with the array adapter to attach it to the spinner and the list view, depending on what orientation the app is in. And the one holding the objects, of course, holds the data. So I did have a little block here that determines whether it's a first launch, where I set the index to 0 and just show the first item in the list, or if it's relaunching because the user has changed the orientation, then I make sure I grab whatever index we were on from the previous orientation. So this was an elegant little feature, and I'm glad I put that in there. Here's where I'm grabbing the device rotation, and then I've got my my two different builds per orientation set up here. So if I'm in portrait mode, I set it up with the spinner, and if I'm in landscape mode, I set it up with the list view. Here's my custom function that kind of sets up the data. So I set up my list array with the custom objects first, and then I use this for loop to iterate through the object list and create a string-based list array just with the name of each musician to use for my adapter. And we can take a real quick look at my custom object. So I've got a couple of constructors here. This is the one that I'm actually using, the one that takes all the data in. But of course I have separate setters and getters for each member. So that's the code. I do have a single display function as requested. It's a single function that is going to work regardless of which orientation, which view I'm in, to populate the detail view. The thing I found the most challenging, as always, was just squeezing this into my schedule, but I did enjoy it, and looking forward to week 4. Thank you.